There's a timeless quality to Solomon's Proverbs. They've endured for millennia, not because they were crafted for an idyllic world, but because they speak directly to the human condition, to our struggles in chaotic times. These aren't quaint sayings for peaceful days. They're a lifeline for people like us, people wrestling with constant change, battered by uncertainty, picking up the pieces of broken relationships, burdened by weighty decisions, and facing each new dawn with a nagging doubt of whether we possess the strength to carry on. Proverbs doesn't offer a sugar-coated version of reality. It lays bare the truth unflinchingly, and that truth is profound. Wisdom isn't merely a desirable accessory. It's the bedrock that keeps you upright when the very ground beneath you is shifting. It's the shield that protects your heart from the world's attempts to harden it, to make you cynical and callous. It's the guiding star that illuminates your path when the road ahead is shrouded in darkness and doubt. Today, we're embarking on a journey through 50 powerful lessons gleaned from the book of Proverbs. These aren't just pieces of advice. They're anchors to steady you, sharpen your discernment, and keep you grounded in wisdom, regardless of life's relentless pace. These aren't dusty, antiquated words confined to the pages of an ancient book. They're vibrant, living principles capable of transforming the very essence of who you are, reshaping the way you think, infusing your relationships with deeper love, empowering your leadership, and equipping you to not only survive but thrive in the face of adversity. So, if you're ready to embark on this transformative journey, let's dive in. But before we begin unpacking these ancient truths, I want to extend a heartfelt invitation to you, wherever you are in the world at this very moment. Whether you're joining us from the comfort of your living room, tuning in from your car during a hectic commute, squeezing in a moment during a quick lunch break, or seeking solace late at night when sleep eludes you, I'd be incredibly grateful to know where you're joining us from. Take a moment to drop a comment below and let me know your city or country. And if you prefer to keep your location private, that's perfectly all right. Simply type, "Peace of the Lord" or "Amen" in the comments so I know you're here with us, part of this growing community. Because this channel isn't just about passively consuming content. It's about fostering a sense of belonging, a shared journey. I firmly believe that we are stronger, more resilient, and more hopeful when we know we're not navigating this often challenging path alone. If this message resonates with you, if it speaks to the deepest longings of your heart, I would be deeply honored if you'd consider subscribing to the channel. Just hit that button and become a part of this ever-expanding family. We're building something truly real here, a space where faith isn't just discussed in abstract terms, but lived out in tangible ways, where we encourage and support each other on our individual journeys. And if you feel particularly led, prayerfully consider becoming a channel member. Please understand, this isn't about soliciting funds. It's about building a movement, a collective effort to spread hope and wisdom to a world desperately in need of both. It's a way of saying, I'm standing with you. I believe in this message. I want to help carry this message of hope to even more people. Membership isn't a mere financial transaction. It's an act of belonging, an expression of fellowship. It's a resounding yes to being part of something bigger than yourself, something that points people back to the unwavering love and guidance of God. We're connected now, you, me, and everyone else who's watching and participating. Let's continue to build this community together, brick by brick, with compassion, understanding, and unwavering faith. Now, with that said, let's delve into the first lesson, the cornerstone of all wisdom, the fear of the Lord. Proverbs 9 verse 10 so eloquently states, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One is understanding." This is the foundational principle, the starting point for everything else we'll explore. It doesn't begin with your innate intelligence, your accumulated experience, or the extent of your formal education. True wisdom dawns when you acknowledge and understand who God is and who you are in relation to Him. The fear of the Lord isn't about cowering in terror before a wrathful deity. It's about cultivating a profound reverence, a deep respect for God's holiness, His unparalleled power, and His absolute sovereignty. It's about recognizing that your life is safest, most secure, and most fulfilling when it's surrendered to His loving care. When you fear the Lord, you consciously choose to relinquish your reliance on your own limited understanding. You cease leaning solely on your own flawed logic and reasoning. Instead, you begin to seek his divine voice first and foremost, and that pivotal shift changes everything. You begin to make wiser, more informed decisions. You avoid traps and pitfalls you couldn't even see lurking. You walk in a clarity and purpose that others struggle to comprehend. If you truly desire wisdom, begin here. Honor God. Revere him. Let him be the unwavering foundation upon which every choice you make is built. This isn't just a pious religious platitude. It's the essential anchor that secures everything else we're going to discuss today. Because without the fear of the Lord as its foundation, wisdom is reduced to mere clever thinking, intellectual gymnastics devoid of true substance. But with the fear of the Lord infused within it, wisdom transforms into life-giving, soul-protecting, destiny-shaping truth. So many people are tirelessly chasing knowledge, frantically gathering information, desperately seeking the latest strategies for success. But they're fundamentally missing the foundational element. They're attempting to build towering structures on shifting sand. And when the inevitable storms of life descend, everything collapses, leaving them shattered and disillusioned. But when you build your life on the solid foundation of the fear of the Lord, when you begin with him, when you allow his unchanging character and eternal truth to be the bedrock of your existence, you stand firm. You endure the trials and tribulations. You thrive, even when everything around you is crumbling and shaking. So, before you make another significant decision, before you take another step forward, pause and ask yourself, am I honoring God in this? Am I seeking his guidance first and foremost? Am I building on the right foundation, the foundation that will withstand the test of time? Because that's where true wisdom begins, not in the fleeting accolades of the world, but in the steadfast presence of God. The fear of the Lord fundamentally changes everything about how you approach life. It reshapes your definition of success, transforming it from outward achievement to inward character. It alters how you handle failure, turning setbacks into opportunities for growth and learning. It radically changes how you treat others, infusing your interactions with compassion, empathy, and genuine love. It realigns your priorities, shifts your perspective, and clarifies your ultimate purpose. When God is at the very center of your life, when he's the unwavering starting point for everything you do, everything else eventually falls into its proper place. Not because life magically becomes easy and devoid of challenges, but because you're firmly anchored to something that cannot be shaken, something that transcends the temporary storms of this world. You're connected to a limitless source of wisdom that never runs dry, a wellspring of grace that sustains you through every season of life. Lesson 2. Guard your heart above all else. Proverbs 4 verse 23 wisely advises, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Your heart is the central command center of your life, the inner sanctuary where your deepest desires are nurtured, your motivations are shaped, and your decisions are ultimately born. If your heart is compromised, if it's infiltrated by negativity and corruption, everything else in your life will inevitably be tainted as well. That's why it's absolutely crucial to be incredibly discerning about what you allow to enter your heart. The people you choose to spend your time with, the content you consume through various media, the thoughts you allow to take root in your mind, the bitterness you stubbornly cling to, all of these things exert a powerful influence on your heart. And in turn, your heart profoundly shapes your entire life. Guarding your heart doesn't equate to building impenetrable walls around yourself, isolating yourself from the world, or refusing to love or trust anyone. It's not about becoming a recluse, fearful of any potential hurt. It means being intentional about what you allow to influence you. It means actively protecting your inner peace, creating boundaries that shield you from negativity. It means consciously choosing not to give access to anything that pulls you away from God, from his love, and from his truth. Think about your heart as a garden, a fertile ground waiting to be cultivated. Whatever seeds you plant there will inevitably grow and flourish. If you sow seeds of resentment, anger, lust, or fear, those are the very things that will take root, choking out the good and producing bitter fruit in your life. But if you diligently plant seeds of love, truth, faith, and unwavering hope, Those are the qualities that will flourish, bearing abundant fruit that nourishes your soul and blesses those around you. And the crucial thing to remember about gardens is that they require consistent maintenance. You can't simply scatter good seeds and then walk away, expecting a bountiful harvest without any further effort. You have to diligently pull the weeds that threaten to choke out the good plants. You have to consistently water the garden, providing nourishment and sustenance. You have to protect it from pests and invasive species that seek to destroy its beauty and productivity. That's precisely what it means to guard your heart. You have to be vigilant, always on the lookout for anything that's trying to take root that doesn't belong there. And when you spot something harmful, something that's not aligned with God's will for your life, you have to deal with it swiftly and decisively, before it has a chance to spread its poisonous influence. When your heart is aligned with God's heart, when it's filled with His love and His truth, your life naturally follows suit. Your decisions become clearer and more aligned with your values. Your relationships become healthier and more fulfilling. Your peace is protected, shielded from the storms of life. But when your heart is divided, distracted, or damaged, everything becomes exponentially harder. You make choices you later regret, driven by emotions rather than wisdom. You say things you don't truly mean, hurting the people you love the most. And it all traces back to the condition of your heart, to the neglect or mistreatment it has endured. So guard it fiercely, intentionally, and prayerfully. Don't allow just anyone to speak into your life, to deposit their negativity and doubt into your spirit. Don't allow just anything to occupy your mind, to fill it with images and thoughts that defile and corrupt. Be selective about what you allow to influence you. Be careful about the company you keep. Be wise in your choices, because everything you do, every decision you make, every word you speak, ultimately flows from the wellspring of your heart. And if your heart is healthy and whole, your life will reflect that wholeness as well. I've witnessed firsthand too many people lose their way, straying from the path of purpose and joy, simply because they failed to guard their heart. They allowed toxic relationships to poison their perspective, clouding their judgment and distorting their view of reality. They allowed constant comparisons with others to steal their joy, breeding envy and discontentment. They allowed unforgiveness to build impenetrable walls around their heart, imprisoning them in bitterness and resentment. They allowed worry and anxiety to take up residence in their mind, eventually taking over and dictating their every thought and action. And slowly, imperceptibly, their heart changed, hardening and becoming calloused. And when their heart changed, their life changed dramatically as well. But not for the better. The joy faded, the peace vanished, and the purpose became obscured. So don't let that be you. Don't allow your heart to become a casualty of neglect or mistreatment. Guard your heart with unwavering diligence, for it is the wellspring of life, the source of all that is good and beautiful within you. Protect it like your very future depends on it, because in a very real sense it does. Lesson 3. Pride comes before a fall. Proverbs 16 verse 18 succinctly warns, "Pride goes before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall." Pride is one of the most insidious and dangerous things you can carry within you. It subtly blinds you to your own weaknesses and shortcomings. It isolates you from genuine connection with others, creating a false sense of self-sufficiency. It deceptively convinces you that you don't need God, that you're capable of navigating life's complexities on your own. It makes you believe you don't need wise counsel from trusted mentors or accountability from loving friends. And it's precisely at that moment, when you think you have it all figured out, that you're most vulnerable to a catastrophic fall. Pride convinces you that you're above correction, immune to failure, and exempt from the consequences that apply to everyone else. It whispers lies in your ear, distorting your perception of reality. But the truth is, no one is truly immune to making mistakes. No one possesses all the answers. The very moment you start thinking you've reached a point where you have everything figured out, that's the moment you're most susceptible to stumbling and falling. Pride whispers seductive lies, lulling you into a false sense of security. You're far smarter and more capable than everyone else around you. Why would you need their advice? You've earned the right to do whatever you want, without regard for the consequences or the opinions of others. The rules don't apply to you. You're exceptional, above the constraints that bind ordinary people. And those insidious lies, if believed and acted upon, inevitably lead to destruction, leaving behind a trail of broken relationships, shattered dreams, and lasting regrets. History is replete with examples of brilliant, talented, and successful individuals who ultimately lost everything because they couldn't bring themselves to embrace humility. They became arrogant and self-reliant, convinced that they were untouchable, invincible, and their pride ultimately led to their downfall, a devastating crash that not only destroyed their own lives, but also impacted the lives of countless others around them. Humility, on the other hand, keeps you grounded, preventing you from soaring too high and losing sight of reality. Keeps you teachable, open to learning and growing. It keeps you connected to God, the ultimate source of wisdom and guidance. And it keeps you connected to other people, allowing you to receive support and encouragement when you need it most. Humility says, I don't know everything. I need help from time to time. I'm willing to learn from my mistakes. I'm open to correction, even when it's difficult to hear. And that humble posture protects you from making catastrophic mistakes, from burning bridges with important people, and from destroying valuable relationships. It keeps you in a place where God can use you, bless you, and guide you towards your full potential. If you want to avoid unnecessary pain and heartache in your life, consistently check your pride. Cultivate a spirit of humility. Stay hungry to learn and grow. Stay dependent on God, recognizing that He is the source of all your blessings. Don't let success go to your head, inflating your ego and distorting your perspective. Don't let achievements make you arrogant, causing you to look down on others. Don't let the approval of others make you think you're inherently better than anyone else. Always remember where you came from, the challenges you've overcome, and the people who have supported you along the way. Remember who brought you this far, the source of your strength and resilience. Remember that without God's grace and unwavering love, you'd have absolutely nothing. And let that profound realization keep you grounded, keep you humble, and ultimately keep you safe from the destructive force of pride. I've personally witnessed pride destroy countless marriages, tear apart promising careers, unravel thriving ministries, and shatter lifelong friendships. I've seen people at the very pinnacle of their game lose everything in a single moment of arrogance, simply because they thought they were untouchable, above the consequences that applied to everyone else. They stopped listening to wise counsel, believing they knew best. They stopped seeking guidance from God, relying solely on their own flawed judgment. They stopped being humble, allowing their ego to run rampant. And as a result, they fell, and the fall was devastating, not only for them but for everyone around them who depended on them, loved them, and believed in them. Pride doesn't just hurt you. It inflicts pain on the people who love you, who depend on you, and who have placed their trust in you. So don't let pride take root in your heart. The moment you start feeling invincible, the moment you begin to believe you're above making mistakes, that's the very moment you need to humble yourself before God and ask Him to keep your heart soft, teachable, and dependent on Him. Lesson 4. A gentle answer turns away wrath. Proverbs 15 verse 1 offers this invaluable piece of wisdom. A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. This is one of the most practical and immediately applicable pieces of advice in all of Scripture. A principle that can transform your relationships and defuse conflict in countless situations. How you respond to conflict, to anger, to accusations, ultimately determines whether the situation escalates into a full-blown battle or resolves itself peacefully. When someone comes at you with anger, frustration, or unfounded accusations, your natural human instinct might be to defend yourself, to match their intensity, to fire back with equal or greater force. But that knee-jerk reaction almost always makes things exponentially worse, fueling the fire and escalating the conflict to new heights. A gentle answer doesn't signify weakness or passivity. It's not about caving in or allowing yourself to be walked all over. On the contrary, it signifies wisdom, self-control, and emotional maturity. It means you're in command of your own emotions, refusing to let someone else's chaos dictate your response. When you respond with calmness, with grace, with patience, you effectively defuse the situation, taking the wind out of their sails. You lower the emotional temperature, creating space for understanding and rational dialogue. Think about the last time someone was visibly angry with you. Perhaps they raised their voice, said something intentionally hurtful, or behaved in a completely inappropriate manner. In that moment, you faced a pivotal choice. You could respond in kind, matching their aggression with your own. You could raise your voice in return, retaliating with hurtful words, and defending yourself aggressively. Or you could choose the path of gentleness, responding with calmness and understanding. And here's what happens when you consciously choose gentleness in the face of anger. It disarms people, catching them completely off guard. It makes them pause and reconsider their approach because they were fully expecting a fight. They were anticipating you to escalate the situation, to meet their anger with equal or greater anger. And when you remain calm and kind, it forces them to reevaluate their own behavior. It creates a space for de-escalation, a moment of reflection that can change the entire trajectory of the interaction. It opens the door for real conversation, for genuine understanding, instead of just an all-out verbal combat. This doesn't imply that you passively allow yourself to be disrespected or abused. It doesn't mean you let people walk all over you, violating your boundaries and treating you unfairly. It simply means you carefully choose your battles, discerning which conflicts are worth engaging in and which are best left alone. You consciously choose your tone, opting for a gentle and understanding approach rather than a harsh and accusatory one. You prioritize peace over the fleeting satisfaction of proving a point. And sometimes, choosing peace is the hardest thing to do because your pride wants to defend itself, to assert its dominance. Your ego desperately wants to win the argument, to emerge victorious. Your emotions want to lash out, to inflict pain on the person who has hurt you. But wisdom whispers a different message. A gentle answer turns away wrath. Wisdom reminds you that this particular argument, this fleeting moment of conflict, isn't worth the long. Don't tear others down. Let your words be intentional, seasoned with grace, reflecting the love of Christ. Speak life, hope, and truth. Observe how your words shape the atmosphere, building people up instead of breaking them down, bringing healing instead of harm. Your tongue wields power, use it wisely. I've witnessed words shatter relationships, a single sentence ending friendships built over years, careless comments creating wounds that took decades to heal. But I've also witnessed words bring resurrection. Encouragement pulling someone from the depths of depression, affirmation helping someone discover their calling, truth setting someone free from lifelong lies. Your words matter more than you realize. So always speak life, even when it's hard, even when the other person doesn't seem to deserve it, even when you're hurt, angry, or frustrated. Because death is easy to speak. Life requires intention. It demands a conscious choice to uplift, to inspire, to heal. Lesson 8. A cheerful heart is good medicine. Proverbs 17 verse 22 tells us, "A cheerful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones." Your emotional and spiritual health directly impacts your physical health. When your heart is heavy with bitterness, anxiety, or despair, it affects your entire body. But when your heart is light, when you're walking in joy, when you're choosing gratitude even in hard seasons, it heals you. Joy is medicine. It strengthens you, sustains you. Joy doesn't mean pretending everything is fine, ignoring your pain, or suppressing your emotions. It means choosing to trust God even when things aren't fine. It means finding reasons to be grateful in the middle of difficulty. It means refusing to let circumstances steal your peace. I know people going through incredibly hard things. Loss, sickness, financial struggle, relational pain, and yet they still have joy. Not because their circumstances changed, but because they chose joy. They chose to worship anyway. They chose to trust God anyway. They chose to find reasons to be grateful anyway. And that joy sustained them, carried them through. It became medicine for their weary souls. So cultivate a cheerful heart. Laugh, worship, spend time with people who lift you up. Fill your mind with things that are good, true, and beautiful. Choose gratitude. Choose hope. Choose joy. Let it be your default, not your exception. Watch how it transforms you from the inside out. Medical science is finally catching up to what the Bible has said for thousands of years. Your mental and emotional state affects your physical health. People who live with chronic stress, anxiety, and negativity have higher rates of heart disease, weakened immune systems, and shorter lifespans. But people who cultivate joy, gratitude, and hope experience better health outcomes across the board. Joy isn't just a nice feeling. It's a health strategy. Medicine for your body, mind, and soul. Available to you even in the hardest seasons. You just have to choose it. Make that conscious decision to embrace joy, to seek it out, to nurture it within yourself. Lesson 9. Plans fail for lack of counsel. Proverbs 15 verse 22 says, "Plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors, they succeed." You weren't meant to navigate life alone. You need counsel, perspective, people who can see what you can't, who can ask the questions you're not asking, who can speak truth when you're too close to the situation to see clearly. Pride tells you that you don't need advice. Pride whispers, "I've got this. I can figure it out on my own." But wisdom says, "I need all the help I can get." When you're making big decisions about relationships, career, finances, ministry, seek counsel. Talk to people who are older, wiser, and further down the road. Talk to people who love God and love you enough to tell you the truth. Don't make major moves without input. Don't isolate yourself in your decision-making. And here's the key. Seek counsel from multiple people, not just one. One person might have blind spots, biases, or not see the full picture. But when you gather counsel from multiple trusted voices, patterns emerge. You start to see things you missed, hear the same advice from different sources. That gives you confidence and clarity, protecting you from avoidable mistakes. Surround yourself with wise voices and then listen. Don't just ask for advice and then do what you wanted to do anyway. Actually listen, consider what they're saying. Let their wisdom shape your decisions, because plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors they succeed. I've made some of the worst decisions of my life when I refused to seek counsel. I thought I knew better, had it figured out, didn't want anyone questioning my plans or challenging my thinking, and I paid the price. But I've also made some of the best decisions of my life when I humbled myself and sought wisdom from people who had walked the road before me. They helped me see things I couldn't see, asked questions I hadn't considered, and saved me from devastating mistakes. So learn from my experience. Seek counsel, lots of it, from the right people, and then actually listen to it. Lesson 10. The righteous care about justice for the poor. Proverbs 29 verse 7 says, "The righteous care about justice for the poor, but the wicked have no such concern." Your faith isn't just about what happens between you and God. It's about how you treat people, especially the vulnerable, the marginalized, the overlooked. God cares deeply about justice, the poor, the widow, the orphan, the oppressed. If you follow him, you should too. That means not turning a blind eye to suffering, using your resources, influence, and voice to stand up for those who can't stand up for themselves. It means seeing people the way Jesus sees them, not as statistics or inconveniences, but as image-bearers of God who deserve dignity and care. Righteousness isn't just personal holiness. It's social responsibility, loving your neighbor as yourself, doing justice, loving mercy, and walking humbly with your God. So ask yourself, how am I caring for the poor? How am I standing up for justice? How am I using what I have to help those who have less? Maybe it's giving financially, volunteering your time, or using your voice to advocate for policies that protect the vulnerable. Maybe it's simply treating people with dignity when everyone else ignores them. Whatever it is, don't ignore this. Don't think that righteousness is just about avoiding sin. Righteousness is also about actively pursuing justice, actively caring for those who are hurting, actively reflecting the heart of God toward a broken world. That's what it means to be righteous, to follow Jesus. Throughout Scripture, God makes it clear that he judges nations and individuals not just by their worship, but by how they treat the poor and oppressed. Over and over, the prophets called out God's people for neglecting justice. Over and over, God said that he doesn't want sacrifices and offerings from people who ignore the suffering around them. He wants justice, mercy, and his people to care about what he cares about. So if you want to be righteous, if you want to truly follow God, you have to care about justice, you have to care about the poor. It's not optional. It's essential. Lesson 11. Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge. Proverbs 12 verse 1 says, "Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but whoever hates correction is stupid." That's a strong word, but it's true. If you refuse to be corrected, push back every time someone challenges you, or can't handle feedback, you're foolish and you'll stay foolish. Discipline isn't punishment. It's growth, refinement, God loving you enough to shape you into who you're meant to be. When someone corrects you, it's an opportunity. When you fail and learn from it, it's progress. When you're stretched beyond your comfort zone, it's transformation. Think about athletes. They don't get better by avoiding hard workouts. They get better by pushing through the pain, being coached, accepting correction, and adjusting their technique. That's discipline, and it produces excellence. The same is true in your spiritual life. If you want to grow, mature, and become wise, you have to love discipline, welcome correction, and embrace the process even when it's uncomfortable. Don't run from discipline. Embrace it. It's the path to wisdom, the process that makes you strong, capable, and mature. The people who go the furthest in life aren't the ones who never mess up. They're the ones who are willing to be corrected and keep moving forward, learn from their mistakes, and let discipline refine them instead of resisting it. So the next time someone corrects you, don't get defensive, make excuses, or dismiss it. Listen, consider it, and thank them for caring enough to speak truth. Then make the necessary changes. That's how you grow and become wise. I've noticed that the most successful people I know are also the most coachable. They're constantly learning, asking for feedback, and looking for ways to improve. They don't take correction as an insult. They take it as an investment, as someone caring enough to help them get better. That posture has made all the difference in their lives. So develop that same posture. Love discipline, welcome correction, embrace the refining process, and watch how it transforms you. Lesson 12. Anxiety weighs down the heart, but a kind word cheers it up. Proverbs 12 verse 25 says, "Anxiety weighs down the heart, but a kind word cheers it up." Anxiety is heavy and exhausting. It steals your joy, energy, and focus. In a world that moves this fast, anxiety is everywhere. We're constantly bombarded with information, demands, expectations, and fears about the future, and it all adds up and weighs us down. But here's the beautiful truth. A kind word can lift it. One word of encouragement, one reminder that you're not alone, one text that says, "I'm praying for you," one conversation where someone really listens. That's all it takes sometimes. One kind word can pierce through the darkness and remind you that you're seen, loved, and not forgotten. So be that person for someone else. Speak life, send the message, make the call, and be generous with your encouragement. You have no idea how much it might mean to someone, how a simple kind word might be exactly what they needed to keep going. And when you're the one carrying anxiety, don't carry it alone. Talk to God. Pour out your heart to Him. He already knows what you're feeling, but He wants you to bring it to Him anyway. And talk to someone you trust. Let them speak truth and hope into your heart. Remind you of who God is and what He's promised. Anxiety doesn't have to win, not when you're surrounded by the love of God and the kindness of His people. So don't underestimate the power of a kind word, both in giving it and receiving it. Can change everything. I've received messages from people telling me that a single sentence I said, something I didn't even think twice about, changed their entire perspective. It pulled them out of a dark place and gave them hope when they had none. And I've been on the receiving end, too. I've had moments where I was ready to quit, give up, and walk away, and someone spoke a kind word that reminded me why I started, why it matters, and why I can't give up. That's the power of a kind word. It's life-changing. So don't withhold it. Speak it freely, often, and generously. Lesson 13. The way of a fool is right in his own eyes. Proverbs 12 verse 15 says, "The way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but a wise person listens to advice." Fools don't think they're fools. They think they're right, have it all figured out, don't listen, ask questions, or consider other perspectives. That's exactly what makes them foolish. Wise people know they don't know everything. They're open to learning, willing to be wrong, seek advice, ask for help, and admit when they're confused. That humility is what keeps them growing. One of the most dangerous things you can do is assume you're always right, because you're not. None of us are. We all have blind spots and biases and see the world through our own limited perspective. If we're not willing to consider that we might be wrong, we'll stay stuck in our foolishness. So stay teachable, curious, and humble enough to listen. When someone challenges your thinking, don't immediately dismiss them. Consider what they're saying, ask yourself if there's truth in it, and be willing to change your mind when you're presented with better information. That's not weakness. That's wisdom, maturity, and growth. Don't be so convinced of your own rightness that you can't see when you're wrong. Don't be so proud that you refuse to listen, because the way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but a wise person listens to advice. I've had to change my mind on so many things over the years, things I was absolutely convinced of, things I would have argued about passionately. But then someone presented me with a different perspective, I encountered new information, or I saw the consequences of my thinking play out in real time and I realized I was wrong. And that's okay. That's actually good because it means I'm growing, learning, and willing to be corrected. That willingness has saved me from so much unnecessary pain and so many avoidable mistakes. Lesson 14. A friend loves at all times. Proverbs 17 verse 17 says, "A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for a time of adversity." Real friendship isn't seasonal, just about the good times, fun moments, or easy seasons. Real friendship shows up when things fall apart, when you're struggling, hurting, and not at your best. A true friend doesn't walk away when life gets messy. They step closer, carry you, and remind you who you are when you've forgotten. Anyone can be your friend when you're winning, successful, happy, and everything is going well. But a real friend is there when you're losing, broken, messed up, and ashamed, in the valley, and can't see a way out. That's when you find out who your real friends are, and that's the kind of friend you should be too. Don't just show up for the celebrations. Show up for the hard days. Be the person who stays, who loves even when it's inconvenient, costs you something, and the other person can't give anything back. That's what makes a friendship real, lasting, and worth having. So evaluate your friendships. Are you being the kind of friend described in this verse, loving at all times? Or are you only there when it's easy? And look at the people around you. Who are the ones who have been there through thick and thin, stayed when everyone else left? Those are your real friends. Treasure them, honor them, and be grateful for them because true friendship is rare. And when you find it, hold on to it. I can count on one hand the friends who have loved me at all times. The ones who showed up when I was at my worst, didn't abandon me when I made mistakes, and carried me when I couldn't carry myself. Those friendships are priceless. They're the ones I would do anything for and trust with my life because they've proven their love. Not with words, but with actions. Not in the easy times, but in the adversity. That's real friendship. And if you have that, you're blessed beyond measure. Lesson 15. Better a little with righteousness than much gain with injustice. Proverbs 16 verse 8 says, "Better a little with righteousness than much gain with injustice." You can have everything and still have nothing. You can gain the whole world and lose your soul. Success doesn't mean anything if it's built on compromise, if you had to lie, step on people, or abandon your integrity to reach it. God values righteousness over riches, character over clout, and obedience over outcomes. If you have to choose between doing the right thing and getting ahead, always choose the right thing, always. Because what you gain through dishonesty, you'll lose. What you build on compromise will crumble. What you achieve through injustice will ultimately destroy you. But what you gain through righteousness lasts, what you build on integrity stands, and what you achieve through obedience is blessed by God. So don't chase success at the expense of your soul. Don't sacrifice your values for a promotion, compromise your integrity for a paycheck, or cut corners to get ahead. It's not worth it. It's better to have less and sleep well at night, walk in righteousness and trust God to provide, and be broke and blessed than rich and cursed. Because at the end of your life, what will matter isn't how much you accumulated, but how you lived, whether you walked in integrity, and whether you honored God. Those are the things that can never be taken from you. I've watched people sell their soul for success, compromise their values, integrity, and relationships, all in pursuit of more money, status, and recognition. And you know what? They got it. They achieved what they were chasing, but they lost themselves in the process. They lost their peace and joy and the respect of the people who mattered most. In the end, they realized it wasn't worth it. So learn from their mistakes. Don't sell out, don't compromise, and keep your integrity intact, because it's better to have a little with righteousness than everything with injustice. Lesson 16. Whoever walks in integrity walks securely. Proverbs 10 verse 9 says, "Whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but whoever takes crooked paths will be found out." Integrity is doing the right thing, even when no one is watching, even when it costs you, and even when it's hard. When you walk in integrity, you walk in security. You don't have to look over your shoulder or keep track of lies. You don't have to wonder when the truth will catch up to you. You can sleep at night, look people in the eye, and stand before God with a clear conscience. There's a freedom that comes with integrity, a peace and confidence, because you know that you have nothing to hide, that your life can be examined and you'll be okay, and that you're living in a way that honors God and honors others. But when you take crooked paths, when you lie, cheat, manipulate, or deceive, you lose that security. You're constantly worried about being found out, covering your tracks, and living in fear that someone will discover the truth, and eventually they will. The truth always comes to light, always. So walk in integrity. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. Be the same person in private that you are in public. Don't say one thing and do another. Don't pretend to be something you're not. Just be honest, real, and true. That's how you build a life that lasts. Walk securely and honor God, and reflect His character to the world. Integrity isn't just about saying the right things. It's about being the right person inside and out. It signifies the absence of any chasm between your proclaimed identity and your authentic self. It means your private life mirrors your public persona. There's no double life, no hidden agenda. Your actions consistently align with your words. And that unwavering consistency forges a sense of security, not just for you, but for everyone around you. People inherently trust individuals with integrity. They can depend on you knowing your word is your bond. They can believe in what you say because you've unequivocally proven yourself to be a person of unwavering principle. And such a reputation, built on honesty and trustworthiness, is a treasure far exceeding the value of mere gold. Lesson 17. Commit your work to the Lord, and your plans will succeed. Proverbs 16 verse 3 declares, "Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plans." Success, in its truest form, isn't solely about toiling relentlessly or being intellectually superior to others. It's about humbly surrendering your work and ambitions to God's divine guidance. When you wholeheartedly commit your plans to Him, when you genuinely invite Him into your projects, your aspirations, and your deepest dreams, He establishes them. He aligns them with His perfect will. He blesses them beyond measure. Now, that doesn't guarantee a life devoid of challenges. It doesn't mean you won't encounter obstacles or face moments of adversity. However, it assures you that you won't be navigating these trials alone. It means that God is constantly with you, offering His unwavering direction, faithfully providing for your every need. So, before you even embark on a new endeavor, pause and pray. Before you launch, earnestly seek Him in thoughtful reflection and supplication. Before you take any significant step forward, commit it wholeheartedly to the Lord. Ask Him to illuminate your path, to guide your decisions, and to bless your diligent efforts. Ask Him to align your personal plans with His overarching divine purposes. And then work as unto the Lord. Give it your absolute best, knowing you are serving a higher calling. Be faithful in your duties. Be diligent in your pursuit. But, above all, trust that ultimately, it is God who establishes your plans. It is God who miraculously opens doors that seemed impenetrable. It is God who brings forth genuine, lasting success. Therefore, commit your work entirely to Him. Let Him be the bedrock, the unshakable foundation upon which you construct everything you build. Because what you build in partnership with him will undoubtedly endure. Conversely, what you attempt to build independently, without him, will inevitably crumble and fade away. I've personally learned this invaluable lesson through hard-won experience. I've eagerly launched projects without taking the time to pray for guidance. I've passionately pursued ambitious goals without ever seeking God's wisdom or direction. I've relentlessly worked my tail off, striving to make things happen solely through my own limited strength and resources. And you know what? Some of those ventures momentarily succeeded, giving a false sense of accomplishment. But, in the end, they lacked true substance and didn't truly last. They didn't ultimately fulfill me in the deep, meaningful way I had hoped. They didn't bring the profound blessing I had so naively anticipated. But, when I have deliberately committed my work to the Lord, when I have sincerely invited him to be an integral part of the entire process, when I have humbly surrendered my plans to align with his eternal purposes, he has consistently established them in ways I could never have imagined. He's miraculously opened doors that I could never have unlocked on my own. He's graciously brought forth opportunities that I could never have created. He's richly blessed my work in ways that have far exceeded my wildest dreams. So, learn wisely from my past experiences. Commit your work consistently to the Lord. Patiently allow him to establish your plans, step by step. Lesson 18. Where there is no vision, the people perish. Proverbs 29 verse 18 poignantly states, "Where there is no vision, the people perish." You deeply need vision, a clear direction, a profound understanding of where you're headed and, more importantly, why it truly matters. Without a compelling vision, you drift aimlessly, settling for mediocrity. You merely survive instead of vibrantly thriving in your God-given purpose. Vision gives you purpose, a driving force that propels you forward. It gives you unwavering focus, allowing you to block out distractions. It gives you something meaningful to diligently work toward, something worth passionately fighting for, something enduring to diligently build. And here's the crucial key. True vision doesn't originate from within yourself. It comes directly from God. He is the one who lovingly plants inspiring dreams deep within your heart. He is the one who graciously shows you what is genuinely possible through his divine power. He is the one who vividly paints a comprehensive picture of what he uniquely desires to accomplish through your life. So earnestly seek him for vision. Ask him what he specifically wants to achieve through you. Ask him where he is clearly calling you. Ask him what he is currently building that you can actively participate in. And then, pursue it wholeheartedly with everything you possess. Don't wander aimlessly through life, devoid of purpose. Don't settle for a life lived without a sense of divinely inspired direction. Get vision and witness firsthand how it dramatically transforms your entire life. Observe closely how it ignites within you a renewed sense of energy, a burning passion, a resolute sense of direction. See clearly how it pulls you forward relentlessly, even when circumstances get overwhelmingly hard. Because where there is truly no vision, the people undoubtedly perish. But where there is compelling vision, the people unequivocally thrive. Vision is the defining characteristic that distinguishes those who are actively going somewhere purposeful from those who are simply going through the monotonous motions of daily life. Vision is what persistently keeps you intrinsically motivated when the arduous work gets incredibly challenging. Vision is what empowers you to strategically say no to merely good opportunities, so you can intentionally say yes to truly great ones that align with your ultimate calling. Vision is what instills within you the unshakable courage to take calculated risks, to purposefully step out in faith, to confidently believe for extraordinary things that initially seem utterly impossible. So, if you currently lack a clear, compelling vision for your life, earnestly ask God to graciously impart it to you. Seek him diligently in prayer. Patiently wait upon him, allowing him to reveal his perfect plan in his perfect timing. And when he faithfully gives you vision, diligently write it down. Make it remarkably plain and then pursue it relentlessly with everything you've got. But he lifts up those who are humble, those who are teachable, those who acknowledge their dependence on him. So, resist the urge to chase after recognition. Don't demand respect as if it were owed to you, and certainly, Don't force your way to the top, stepping on others in the process. Instead, humble yourself before Him. Serve faithfully in whatever capacity you find yourself. Trust that God, in His perfect timing, will elevate you when the moment is right. And when He does lift you up, you'll be ready. Humility will have prepared you, molded you, and shaped you into the kind of person who can handle honor without letting it corrupt you. Remember the age-old adage, pride comes before a fall. But the flip side of that coin is equally true. Humility precedes honor. Always choose humility. The greatest leaders I know are invariably the most humble. They don't lord their authority over others, flaunting their power. They don't demand special treatment or expect to be waited on hand and foot. Instead, they serve those they lead. They listen intently, eager to learn from every interaction. And it's precisely because of their humility that people genuinely want to follow them. People want to honor them, and they are inspired to serve them willingly. That's the remarkable power of humility. It attracts honor in a way that pride could never hope to achieve. Lesson 29 ***. A wise son brings joy to his father. Proverbs 10 verse 1 reminds us, a wise son brings joy to his father, but a foolish son brings grief to his mother. The way you live your life has a profound impact on those who love you most. Your choices have the power to bring them immense joy or deep sorrow. Your wisdom can bring them peace, while foolishness can inflict pain. This isn't about putting on a performance to gain approval. It's about honoring those who have invested so much in you. It's about living in a way that reflects the love and sacrifice they poured into your life. Your parents, your mentors, those who raised you and guided you. They gave so much to help you become the person you are today, and the way you live either honors or dishonors that incredible investment. So live wisely. Make decisions that honor God and honor your family. Let your life be a blessing, not a burden. Let your choices bring joy, not grief. Let your wisdom reflect the strong foundation that was laid for you with such care. I often think about my own parents and the countless sacrifices they made for me. The late nights, the fervent prayers, the consistent provision, the unwavering patience. And my greatest desire is to live a life that honors that. I want them to be proud of the person I've become, not because I'm perfect, but because I'm faithful, because I'm striving to walk in wisdom, and because I'm committed to honoring God in all I do. That's my ultimate goal, and it should be yours, too. Lesson 30 ***. Do not forsake your friend or a friend of your father. Proverbs 27 verse 10 wisely advises, do not forsake your friend or a friend of your father, and do not go to your relative's house when disaster strikes you. Better a neighbor nearby than a relative far away. Relationships require work. Friendships demand investment. And loyalty is of paramount importance. Don't abandon the people who have been there for you through thick and thin. Don't take for granted the friendships that have stood the test of time. Don't allow distance, busyness, or life's inevitable changes to cause you to neglect the relationships that truly matter. And when disaster strikes, don't isolate yourself in your pain. Let the people who are close to you, who are present in your life, who are readily available, be there to help you. Sometimes, the people who matter most aren't those to whom you're related by blood. They're the ones who show up when you need them most. They're the ones who are there in the moment, offering a helping hand and a listening ear. So value your friendships. Invest in them generously. Be fiercely loyal. Be present in their lives. And when you find yourself in need, don't be too proud to receive help from those who are near. I've learned that proximity matters immensely. When you're facing a crisis, you need people who are nearby, who can show up at a moment's notice, who can offer practical support and emotional comfort. You can't always wait for someone to fly in from across the country. You need people in your immediate circle who can respond quickly and effectively. Therefore, invest in local friendships. Build a strong sense of community wherever you are. Don't neglect the valuable relationships that are right in front of you. Lesson 31 ***. The wise prevail through great power. Proverbs 24 verse 5 declares, the wise prevail through great power, and those who have knowledge muster their strength. Wisdom grants you an advantage. Knowledge provides you with strength, not merely physical strength, but strategic strength. the strength to think clearly, to plan effectively, to navigate complexity with grace and skill. The world desperately needs people who are wise, who are thoughtful, who lead with insight rather than impulse. So invest in your mind. Read widely. Learn voraciously. Grow constantly. Seek understanding with unwavering determination. Let wisdom be your greatest asset. Don't rely solely on your natural abilities. Don't simply coast on your inherent talent. Develop your mind, sharpen your thinking, and become someone who can solve problems creatively, who can see solutions where others see only obstacles, who can lead with wisdom and discernment. Because when you are wise, you don't just survive. You prevail. You overcome challenges. You succeed even when others fail. Knowledge is power, but wisdom is strategic power. It's knowing not just what to do, but when to do it and how to do it most effectively. It's discernment, understanding, and insight that goes far deeper than mere information. So, pursue wisdom relentlessly, pursue knowledge passionately, and watch how it gives you an undeniable advantage in every area of your life. Lesson 32 ***. A prudent person foresees danger and takes precautions. Proverbs 22 verse 3 wisely states, "The prudent see danger and take refuge, but the simple keep going and pay the penalty." Wisdom allows you to see what's coming down the road. Foolishness, on the other hand, causes you to ignore the warning signs, blindly marching toward potential disaster. If you see danger ahead, whether it's a toxic relationship, a risky decision, a compromising situation, don't keep going. Stop immediately. Adjust your course. Take refuge. Protect yourself from harm. Don't wait until you're already embroiled in the mess to wish you had made a different choice. Be prudent. Be discerning. Pay close attention to the warning signs. Listen to the alarm bells that are going off in your spirit. Trust your gut when something just doesn't feel right. And when God gives you a red flag, honor it without hesitation. Don't ignore it. Don't rationalize it away. Don't convince yourself that you'll be the exception to the rule, because more than likely you won't. The danger is real, and if you stubbornly keep going, you'll inevitably pay the penalty. I've ignored red flags before, and I've always deeply regretted it. Every time. The relationship I knew was wrong, but pursued anyway. The business deal I sensed was shady, but went through with regardless. The decision I knew was unwise, but made anyway, fueled by pride or impatience. And every single time I paid the price, sometimes a steep one. So, learn from my mistakes. Pay attention to the warnings. Heed the red flags. Take refuge before the danger hits. It's far better to be safe than sorry. Lesson 33 ***. The fear of man is a snare. Proverbs 29 verse 25 cautions, "Fear of man will prove to be a snare, but whoever trusts in the Lord is kept safe." When you care too much about what other people think, you become trapped. You compromise your values. You shrink back from your potential. You silence your own voice. You live for the fleeting approval of others instead of the enduring obedience to God. You make decisions based on other people's fickle opinions instead of God's unwavering will. And that's a snare, a trap that ensnares you, limits you, and keeps you from becoming the person you were created to be. But when you trust God more than you fear people, you walk in true freedom. You make decisions based on His unchanging truth, not on their ever-shifting opinions. You live boldly, knowing that His approval is the only one that truly matters. So, stop letting people control you through their expectations. Stop worrying about what they think, what they say, what they'll do if you don't conform to their standards. Fear God alone. Trust Him completely, and let that be enough, because His approval is the only approval that will ultimately satisfy. And when you have that, you're truly free. The fear of man has held countless people back from their calling, from their purpose, from their God-ordained destiny. They're so consumed with worrying about what people will think that they never step out in faith. They never take the necessary risks. They never obey God's call on their lives. And they spend their whole lives trapped in a cage of their own making, a cage built from the bars of public opinion. Don't let that be you. Break free from the crippling fear of man. Trust God wholeheartedly, and live boldly in the freedom He offers. God's heart aches for the poor and oppressed, a constant current of compassion flowing from the divine. Let this be a beacon guiding your actions and shaping your perspectives. Lesson 49 is simple yet profound. Apply your heart to instruction. Proverbs 23 verse 12 echoes this sentiment, urging us to apply your heart to instruction and your ears to words of knowledge. Don't just passively hear, truly listen. Don't just mechanically read, actively apply. Allow God's word to penetrate your being and instigate genuine change within you. Let instruction mold and refine you, shaping you into the person you were destined to become. Be a doer, not merely a hearer of the word. That is the essence of genuine growth, the key to unlocking your God-given potential. When you delve into Scripture, don't just skim the surface. Instead, ask yourself penetrating questions. How does this apply specifically to my life? What areas within me need transformation? What actions do I need to modify or adopt? And crucially, then act on it. Knowledge divorced from application is like a seed that never sprouts, a wellspring that never quenches thirst. Don't simply amass information, accumulating facts like a hoarder. Apply what you learn, breathe life into it, and allow it to transform you from the inside out. That is the true path to growth, the unwavering road to becoming genuinely wise. Lesson 50, a cornerstone of a righteous life. Buy the truth and do not sell it. Proverbs 23 verse 23 resounds with this imperative. Buy the truth and do not sell it. Wisdom, instruction, and insight as well. Truth is an invaluable treasure, a pearl of great price. It's worth more than earthly riches, fleeting pleasures, or the fleeting approval of others. Don't trade truth for the momentary comfort of a lie. Don't barter it for the fleeting popularity of conforming to the crowd. Don't exchange it for the superficial convenience of a compromised conscience. Cling to truth with unwavering tenacity. Pursue it relentlessly, guarding it fiercely against the corrosive forces of deception. Truth is the bedrock upon which everything of lasting value is built. When you possess it, hold it fast. Don't compromise it, diluting its potency to appease the sensibilities of a fallen world. Stand firm on the solid ground of truth. Live by its unwavering principles. Let truth be your compass, guiding your steps and illuminating your path. And never, under any circumstances, sell it. Truth is non-negotiable. It is the foundation of everything that matters. Buy it at any cost, sacrificing whatever is necessary to obtain it. And once you have it, never sell it, never compromise it, never trade it away. Hold on to truth as if your very life depends on it. Because in a very real sense, it does. Before we conclude this journey through these 50 vital lessons, I want to speak directly to your heart, soul to soul. If you've persevered this far, if you've stayed with me through the entirety of this series, I firmly believe it's for a purpose, a divine appointment. I believe God is stirring something profound within you. Perhaps He's gently reminding you of the person He created you to be, the calling He placed upon your life from the beginning. Maybe He's lovingly convicting you of areas where you've compromised your values, strayed from His path, or settled for less than His best. Or perhaps He's igniting a flicker of hope within you, assuring you that it's never too late to change, to grow, to step into the fullness of the person He designed you to be. Whatever that stirring may be, don't ignore it. Don't push it aside, dismissing it as a fleeting emotion or a passing thought. Lean into it, explore it, and allow God to reveal its significance to you. And if you feel a prompting to support this ministry, to help us extend the reach of these messages to even more people, I want to extend an invitation for you to become a channel member. Not because I am in dire need of your financial resources, but because together, united in purpose, we can accomplish so much more than we ever could individually. Every single person who joins this movement is helping us connect with someone who feels lost, someone who is wrestling with pain and heartache, someone who desperately needs to hear the reassuring message that God still speaks, that He still cares, that He is still actively working in their lives. This isn't merely a financial transaction. It's a partnership, a collaborative effort to impact lives for eternity. It's a movement fueled by compassion and driven by a desire to see God's love transform the world. And I would be deeply honored to have you join us. to be a part of this life-changing mission. So, if you feel led, click that membership button. Join the ranks. Let's work together to change lives, one message, one person at a time. Now, before I release you to put these lessons into practice, I have one final request. If this message has blessed you in any way, if it has challenged you to grow, if it has reminded you of truths that you desperately needed to hear, please don't keep it bottled up inside. Share it with the world. Subscribe to this channel, ensuring that you never miss a future upload. Hit that like button, signaling your appreciation and helping others discover this content. Turn on notifications so you'll be immediately alerted when new videos are released. Because our journey together is far from over. There's more wisdom on the horizon, more profound truths to uncover, more hope to share, and more messages that will fortify your faith and equip you for the challenges that lie ahead. And most importantly, share this video. Send it to someone who you know is struggling, someone who needs a dose of encouragement, someone who is seeking answers to life's difficult questions. Post it on your social media platforms, reaching a wider audience with its powerful message. Let's amplify this message as far and wide as we possibly can. Because somewhere, right now, someone is desperately searching for hope. Someone is yearning for answers. Someone is longing to know that they are not alone in their struggles. And this message might be precisely what they need to hear, the lifeline they've been praying for. So share it. Be the catalyst, the instrument of God's grace, who brings hope into someone's life today. Be the one who reminds them that God is still present, still speaking, still actively involved in their lives. Be the one who points them back to wisdom, back to truth, and ultimately back to Him. I am praying for you, fervently believing that God is poised to do something truly remarkable in your life. I am trusting that these 50 lessons will take root in your heart, sinking deep into the soil of your soul, and producing a harvest of fruit that will last for eternity. I am believing that you will walk in wisdom, making decisions that honor God, and building a life that reflects His glory to a watching world. You're not here by accident. God orchestrated your encounter with this message for a specific purpose. So don't squander it. Apply what you've learned. Live it out with passion and conviction. Let it transform you, reshaping the way you think, the way you love, the way you lead, and the way you live your entire life. And know, deep down in your core, that you are loved beyond measure. You are seen by a God who knows you intimately. You are valued not because of what you do, but because of who you are. You are a cherished child of God, created in His very image, and called to walk in wisdom and reflect His radiant light into a world shrouded in darkness. So go do that. Go be that. Go live that truth out loud. May the Lord bless you abundantly and keep you safe from harm. May His face shine upon you, radiating His love and grace. May He turn His countenance toward you, granting you His perfect peace that surpasses all understanding. Go forth in wisdom, walk in strength, stand firm in truth, and know with unwavering certainty that you are never truly alone. God is always with you. He is for you, not against you. He is leading you, guiding your steps, and He will never, ever let you go. Amen and amen.